We're back. Okay. Welcome everyone to The Wall. So every month we go through all the movies I've seen in the cinemas, and yeah, we just put them up on the wall. All right. We're gonna have a lot of posters, fellas. So we've got In the Lost Lands. It's pretty mid, but this movie kind of rocks in like a. Don't get me wrong, this film is bad. Like this film's quite bad, right? But this film oozes that like edgy charm, that evanescence emo. It kind of reminds me of those movies that made in like the 2000s. You know, like your Daredevils and your Catwomans. You know, there's a certain charm to them. They're bad. Don't get me wrong, they're bad. This movie makes me feel like I'm drinking a Monster Energy drink. That's what this movie is. It kind of gives like the really shitty flavored Monster Energy drink. This movie stars like Dave Bautista, and he's a fuckboy werewolf, and Mila Jovovich is like a outcast psychic, magician witch lady with a really fucked up looking pixie cut, and it's just like the most distracting thing you've ever seen in a film. Like I'm like looking at her talking, just expositioning her heart out, and I'm just looking at her hair going, How do you make it look that bad? I know my hair's not great, but if Mila Jovovich's name rings a bell, it's because she was in like the Resident Evil films and that really bad Monster Hunter film that came out maybe a couple years ago as well. So that kind of tells you like the quality of this film, like from the gate. But this film was also written by George R.R. Martin, like the guy who wrote Game of Thrones, the guy who co-wrote Elden Ring. And I hope that he did in this film was write a sentence and then they just put his name on the banner. Because this film is all over the place, trying to be this like sci-fi Mad Max world with werewolves and witches, but the movie's like almost a good camp. I could carry on in this film in like greater detail. Like I could talk about this film because no one saw it, but I think people need to see it because it is like one of the fun bad movies of the year. It's not great, but it's very fun. I'd recommend this on like a 4 out of 10 on the fun bad scale. Like it's not a good quality film. But I think this is one your parents would unironically like. They don't get the irony. Anyway, yeah, they would unironically like this film. So we go from a pretty mid film to a pretty solid film. Yeah. This is like a roller coaster this month. I'll tell you what, don't mean to spoil it, but we got some absolute dog shit and we got some fucking absolute classics. So, this is a bipolar ride. Just get ready for it. Yeah, so this ends up actually being one of my favorite films of this year so far. Spoilers. But it's not a perfect film. I mean, I don't think a perfect film exists. Being perfect is completely unobtainable in my opinion. You can have good elements and you can be a fun time and a good watch and you do everything technically correct, but you'll never be a perfect film to any. If it was a perfect film for me, it's not going to be a perfect film for you. Anyway, that's just like a thing about perfectionism and stuff like that. You're allowed to have flaws. You don't have to be a perfect film. Not the point. Some of the issues in this film that that I do like, and the only reason why I take issue is because I enjoy it so much. This movie could have been longer, but it also could have been shorter. I feel like some of the stuff that they added needed to be explored more to give it the payoff that it deserves. There's so much things happening in this story that the world is really well made and it's well put together, but because there's so much going on in your film, it needed to just have a little bit more time to. I feel like this is a movie that would have like a comic or something to expand the world a little bit more. I know it's based on a book as well. As well as like your first act's a bit lost. It's a little bit. It does like this whole flashback thing, and the flashback kind of takes up a good. Your first act is the flashback, and I'm a little bit. It uses like the whole like, oh, I bet you're wondering how I got here kind of stick. That's not a bad thing. It takes a little bit to like get past that point, and then the movie kind of picks up and starts. There's parts in the middle where I'm like really eating this film up. I'm like, oh, I'm all here for some like clone drama. And that only kind of lasts for a little while, and then it kind of gets into like the bigger issue of the whole film. And that's fine. I just think I'll need a little bit more of that clone drama. Like 2 Robert Pattinsons on screen is apparently just the right amount of Robert Pattinsons for me. And I just shout out to the costume design. The costume design of this film is great. Like there was never a point in the movie where I was like, I don't know which clone, because I'm sorry, spoilers, this movie's about clones. I don't know if you're aware, but yeah, I don't know which Mickey, which of the main characters of the two Robert Pattinson. There was never a point in time where I was like, I don't know which one I'm looking at, unless it was intentionally like, oh, which Mickey is doing what right now. And I'm also glad they did do like the clone trope of like, oh, which one's the real Mickey, and I have to shoot one. I wasn't expecting your two Robert Pattinsons and the partner to almost take a trip to the Eiffel Tower. I was not expecting that. That made me giggle quite a lot. All the other performances are spot on. You know, Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette were really well acted, really well performed. They're both charismatically evil and stupid. And shout outs to his teeth, you know, big highlight. This movie might not be for everyone just because of its structure. I think that's like the one issue I have with this film is the structure is a little bit all over the place. If I rewatched it, I would be probably maybe a bit more highly on it. Maybe I'd be a bit like more critical of it. But like right now, depending on what day you ask me, it'd be like it's a 9, it's an 8, it's a 10. You know, it's any of those depending on the mood. It's just a fun time, you know. Okay. Remember how I told you this month was gonna be a bit all over the place with some good films and some really dog shit films? Yeah, this is what I meant. Yeah, she's going in the corner because I don't think I want to see too much of that. Yeah, so I watched Snow White, so you didn't have to. Sorry. Disney Snow White. Context, it was like 8 o'clock on a Friday when my power goes out. I asked my partner if she wanted to see it, and which we did. And after we watched it, we both agreed we would have had more fun in the dark with no power. So much wrong with this film, and again, there's a lot of background issues with this film. You know, your controversies and you know this, that, the other. That disregarding all that, this film is just not good. Costuming, they gave my girl the ugliest bob. I'm not a fashionable dude. Like look at what I'm wearing, chic, right? But it's just they're just not. None of the costumes are very flattering. And they're meant to be in this like magical kingdom, right? Like full of life, and it just feels empty. Yes, there's people on screen filling the space, like there's people there. But the city doesn't feel alive. But for many reasons, the set just feels small. Like your actual set of the kingdom feels like it's just one town. And they just cram people together and they said, this is a big city. And then it's like, well, no, like you could feel like it's a set. That compare like also with like all the bad editing. The editing is bad. I mean, look, I'll talk about the Evil Queen in a second, but like she's got a song in the movie and they just boo, boo, boo. There's a couple of like different like Instagram reels and TikToks that I've seen now of just, you know, showing how bad that is. And I'm like, oh yeah, I noticed how bad that was in the movie. You know, usually sometimes you can get away with it while you're watching it, and then like after the fact someone just goes, oh, this was bad. I was actively going, that's wrong. That I feel disorientated. That was not good. But they do her dirty. They make her look so small. And I know she's meant to, you know, be a small princess, whatever. They give her some of the fucking worst angles. They look like this. She's singing, right? And she's singing on the mountain or like on the castle wall or something, and she's just kind of singing with her head tilted up, and it just makes her mouth look so big, and because she's got the big bob, it makes her head look square, and it's just they just absolutely do her so dirty. I do feel quite bad for her. Yeah, there's also another part where the CGI and the love interest are like talking, and there's meant to be like this artificial light behind me, right? And there's meant to be like a dark, you know, the shadows casting this way, right? So the light's there, shadow this way, right? And it's just like, it looks like I've got butter smeared over my face to add the light that's obviously not there. And it's really gross looking. It looks so smooth and the light doesn't make sense. And I don't know, maybe that's me like just crashing out a little bit. It's all my takes. I saw this film over 2 weeks. I saw this film like almost like 3 weeks ago. So, you know, I could be wrong. I kind of record them all at the end of the month. Not as subjective, right? But we can all agree that Gal Gadot's cannot act. It's giving Tommy Wiseau from The Room. All her lines sound like Borat. Her songs were bad on top of being poorly edited. She literally sounded like this. It makes me feel like I could act better in that film. And that wasn't very good just then. This movie's like a 2. Maybe like a 1, maybe a 2. If you have kids, sure. There's so many other films, and we'll talk about those other films. Recommend taking your kid to see. Don't do this one. this is just meant for people like me to shit on. Maybe just give them an iPad. Extra little one in here. I did watch Novacaine. Yeah, the big spoilers of this one. Okay, so off rip, the trailer fucking sucks. The trailer of this movie, if you've seen it, like the 3.5 minute trailer, it's the worst trailer I've ever seen. It, like after seeing the film, I'm like, wow, 80% of this movie, they're just absolutely spoiled. They're just given away in the trailer. In the 3.5 minute trailer, you get the entire hour and 30 minutes of this film. For the most part, there's a couple little bits and pieces there that are fun. 80% of this movie is gone in your trailer, and I just think whoever did the trailer needs to be fired. I was not happy. This should be set on a benchmark of like what not to do for making a trailer, because it just literally just gives the whole thing away. There's not a vibe. There's not anything. It's just like, this is the plot, and you're like, wow. That sucks. Now we're talking about the film, right? This film does have a pacing issue, much like the trailer, as well as a tone issue, taking itself way too seriously and silly at the same time. The start is like super drawn out, intentionally. Don't get me wrong, it's intentionally drawn out. It's like setting it all up, but it's explaining it. Also, I don't love the lead actress. I think a lot of her dialogue feels like, you talk, then I talk. A lot of her dialogue with Jack Quaid, and it just feels like lacking of like that emotional punch. And it's intentional. It's intentional. But the fun parts are fun. The fights are close and personal, one-on-ones. Like it's like that. I really enjoyed the aspect of the fighting in this, and the fighting is the best part of this film. It feels brutal. The main character's motivation is so dumb, but so genuine. You look past it. Like there is a lot of red flags in this film. Like the midway twist is good. It really gave this movie a good hook. Like the twist in the middle really like kind of just dragged you back into like, oh, okay, now I'm invested because this movie, it got silly. But when the plot is moving, it's pretty good. It's a fun time. It's a goofy concept that carries for the most part. And I just think I am a fan of goofy concepts. I think that's, if you have a goofy concept, I'm kind of already in. In the Lost Land is a goofy concept. I'm in. Novacaine, again, goofy concept, I'm in. Even if the film isn't great, you've at least got my interest just from the idea of it. Look, this film's like a 5. It does feel like a safe pick, like an action comedy. It's definitely there. Your main villain is literally just like the guy from Far Cry 3. You guys know the one. All right, we're up to the marathon. So at the end of every month, me and a couple of my friends, we all go through and we just watch as many films as we can in a day. And I think we cooked too hard this month. Normally we do 5, and that's like fine. This month we did 6, and in one day, so it's 14 hours. Okay, so Looney Tunes: The Day the Earth Blew Up. Oh yeah, like I am a Looney Tunes fiend. Yeah, like I am a Looney Tunes fiend. This is my jam. Like I love me the Space Jams. I love me all the old cartoons. Is this movie perfect? No. But it does have impact frames. So take that, Invincible fans. This movie is what I needed this movie to be. Like it's a little bit uncanny valley, charming, unconventional, and it's like it nails it. Having Porky Pig as the straight man to Daffy is a great idea. I think he's like cunty side of Daffy is like a little bit underused in this film, but that's just me. The Farmer Jim is like the best character in this film, and that's without spoilers. He's just the weirdest little PNG curveball that I've ever seen. Farmer Jim is the best guy. This movie gets away with a lot, but there are several wall breaks that would have made my eyes roll into the back of my head if it was any other film. Like, I don't know if anyone saw the Smurfs trailer, and they have like an influencer Smurf, and it was like, haha, make sure to like and subscribe and stuff. And I'm just like, no, that doesn't work. But if something like that happened in Looney Tunes, I feel like the charm of it would actually be kind of funny. This is made by people that know what movie they're making. Some slower parts towards the middle and like the end of the film, sure. The entire runtime, you can tell some of the jokes were a bit toned down. It's a scene where Daffy and Porky Pig are sitting there and they're like writing their last will, and it's meant to be like a sad but funny moment. Like they're like, I'm giving up, rah, rah, rah. And that's kind of like the whole joke. It kind of just ends there and they move on, right? But I know that old Looney Tunes, they would have a loaded gun on the table. They would definitely have a loaded gun on the table, and they'd start playing Russian roulette while writing the last will. And 100%, you can't tell me that's what old Looney Tunes would have done. It just makes me miss old Looney Tunes just a little bit, you know? Anyway, this film's great. Like, I love the midway twist. I was not expecting Porky Pig to tell Daffy, I hope you get probed in this movie, but it happened, and I'm here for it. Not the probing part, just anyway, not the point. It's like an 8 or a 9. It's a very fun time. So we move on to another banging animated film. Flow, right? This movie fucking rocks. It's the best apocalyptic film I have ever seen. And I actually just straight up mean that. Which is saying something about Flow for being an animated film about a cat man. This movie deserves it deserves all the love and all the praise that I can give. I gave all the praise to the animation and the story of Wild Robot. This film just fucking eats it. It's only like 95 minutes long. Not a super long film, and no dialogue. It's touching and it's moving. And if anything happens to that capybara, I will riot. Like, spoiler warning, the sci-fi elements I didn't fully understand. I understand it like after the fact, and I had to like talk it with some people of like, that's what happened in this film. Maybe I wasn't fully locked in, but like, wow, it's beautiful. The film is really well done. It all made in Blender by like 50 dudes. It's just a great time. It's just pure vibes. It does give like, I don't know if anyone ever played like Eco or Shadow of the Colossus, where it's like very like just vibes. Silent films just been eating. I saw, what was it, Hundreds of Beavers recently, and that movie just eats as well. Like, silent films are kind of where it's at the moment. Like, I'm loving all of them. This one, not a silent film. Obviously, there's still music, and the music is beautiful, and there's still sound effects. You can tell a story without having to explain it to me, and I think that's what this movie does perfectly. Film might not be for everyone, but I cannot praise this film enough. It's like a 10 out of 10. I'm not saying it's perfect. Nothing is without like criticism. It could have been longer. I think that is like a legit criticism. I was like, I think I would have been a little bit less confused at some points if the film was maybe about 10, 15 minutes longer. And just to clear up some of like your plot stuff. And I think that would have been it. But also, I don't think you need it. I don't think you need it because you do a good job. It's compact. It's compact, and I think my issue is I wanted more of it. Not to explain it to me or anything like that, but I think I just wanted it to be a little bit less interpretive. Just a little bit, And I don't know how you do that. Maybe there's some films where you're like, oh, I can interpret this film any way I want. And this is it could have been what happened. That XYZ, you know what I mean? It's like these things could have happened. Anyway, that's just me. Looney Tunes and Flow, both absolutely banging animated films. And then we saw Locked. This movie just kind of came in one ear and then came out the other. Right? This movie's dumb. It's not that bad. I think I'm definitely going to be in the minority here. I think I've got Bill Skarsgård brain. He's been in some absolute very middle of the road films, and this is no different. The Crow was not good. I'm not saying The Crow was good. I'm saying The Crow was dumb, and The Crow was dumb. So that way, I think it's kind of funny. My humor is broken. It is just Saw, like the Saw movies, but in a car. But the car is like the booby trap, and Jigsaw is a hypocritical old dying bastard old man who just hates poor people, and that's it. That's all this movie is. I like the acting. Bill Skarsgård is good. The concept is so dumb that I find myself invested. Again, it's a dumb concept. Poor lower class guy, tries to steal a car. The car is booby-trapped, gets locked, and tortured. That's the whole film. That is the entire plot of this film. It's stupid, and it's really, really bad, and it's very, repetitive. The concept's, because the concept's so dumb, I found myself invested just to see where they go with it and how they kind of, ramp the stakes up. And they do. They do a great job, There's a couple of fun scenes where the car starts driving itself. Yes, it's not exactly the most well-edited. This film is not a work of art, but it is fun in a sick way. I was sure they were going to run over a child, and that's a good thing. Kids have too much plot armor nowadays, Kids just have too much plot armor. Maybe I'm smoking penis, but I like this movie. I'm giving it a 4 out of 10 on a good bad scale. We need a locked cinematic universe, and I'm only half joking. We need more dumb movies. So that was a little weird palate cleanser. Then we went on to do Black Bag, a banging spy mystery. It's a whodunit about a healthy working relationship. I didn't expect to like this film as much as I did. It's just so straight to the point. This film is very this is what's going on. You need to figure it out. You know, it doesn't take any time building like most of your characters until you've already kind of got the gist of where the guy's coming from. And this film is, if you're not locked in, you're left behind. I don't really love whodunits because they tend to give you too much information that is meant to like confuse you, and like it's meant to like, you know, be red herrings and stuff. But this movie is very focused. The confidence Michael Fassbender's character oozes is nothing short of James Bond-esque. Also, take a drink every time they say black bag in this film. It's very concise. It's short. It's a short whodunit, and the stakes kind of switch up halfway to being like, more people are in on it, and you know, it's a bit bigger than what it started off as, and that's fun. The whole film is great. The whole film is really well done. It's very, it's focused, and I think that's a good thing. It'll be like a fun 7 out of 10, maybe an 8. It might not be as fun the second watch, but it's still a good time. Like it's a fun time. The power couple of the year are Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett. Great job. Really well done. Really like that film. It's like an 8. Like an 8, maybe a 7. It might go down if you rewatch it. And anyway, in there. Fuck, now I gotta put this poster up. I've got 2. Why? Are you touching any good posters? Yeah. I should have just fucking ripped that poster. This movie's ass. It doesn't deserve to be up on this wall. Fuck this movie. It was. I feel like this movie, A Working Man, was made by a 15-year-old boy that smokes weed, thinks Call of Duty is real life, and his favorite film is The Beekeeper. Oh wow, would you look at that? It was also made by the game guy who made Beekeeper. The editing is awful. I feel like I had like little to no idea what the actual fuck was going on. Like, he's only a working man for about 15 minutes, maybe. It feels like they had 2 scripts and they just smashed them together, added Jason Statham. Whatever. Jason Statham starts selling meth at some point to crocodiles. And okay, that's a more of a me inside joke, yeah. He throws meth into the ocean, and I'm hoping that those crocodiles who just have meth. He has the thickest plot armor, and I'm talking with like 8 C's. Like, this motherfucker has the thickest plot. I don't think I saw him get hit once. Like, he maybe gets thrown around a little bit, but I don't think there's no stakes, you know? So when I see him go straight up fight a militia, I'm like, well, he's gonna win. Like, it's like, I don't feel like there's anything nuanced or anything, you know. This guy had no presence at all. He was just a guy on a mission to kill a bunch of people, and that's it. He has a sniper towards like the final act of the film. This is the one that made me crash out, right? He has a sniper with this like big fuck off scope on it, and he's looking down the barrel, and I'm like 90% sure. Me and my friend were sitting there going, I don't think he's looking at that scope. I don't think he's like, you know, the scope's here, you know. I'm like, there's no way that bitch is looking through that scope. I'm mad that there was like people in the cinema that we went to, like more than like 2 people in that cinema. I'm mad that this movie's probably gonna make some money. I'm mad that Jason Statham's still doing work in these shitty films. I don't know what dirt they have on him, but please free my boy and give him some real action films. Apparently he produced this one, so I don't know. Maybe this guy has just found the infinite money glitch, and I'm just trying to cope. But this movie's like a -1. Like, I'm legit. It's worse than Snow White. It's worse than In the Lost Lands. It's worse than anything on this fucking wall right now. That is the worst one. That is the worst movie I have seen in this entire run of this whole experience that I've been doing for the last 3-4 months. Like, I am not kidding. It is that bad. This wall has what, 20, 25, 30 films on there, and that's the worst one. Don't see this movie. Or do. I don't know. I'm not your mom. Fucking whatever. Yeah, finally. So that was our 5th film of the night. So, you know, I still had 1 more in me. And oh boy, it's a 3-hour-long Bollywood. Yippee. We watched Robin Hood. Bollywood film. Most of the time, Bollywoods are pretty solid. This one, I can admit, I may have crashed out a little bit from the one before. So I think I came into it kind of just like, cinema is dead. Okay, look, the movie has good moments, but for every funny joke that landed, there was jokes that got lost in translation. Like, this is a Bollywood film through and through. The theater that we were in obviously had people who speak the language fluently, you know. So when those jokes happened, I could hear them laughing. So I was like, there was something funny happening, but the entire like group I was with, we didn't get it. And that's just a translation thing, and I feel like, you know, that's just what it is, right? But there was a lot of them, so I kind of felt like I was missing out on the joke here. Fine, that's okay. That's not like gonna be like a negative against it. It's like it didn't make sense to me, you know. Not all the movies are meant for everyone, and that's okay. But the plot of this movie is the classic Robin Hood, you know. An orphan grows up stealing from the rich and gives to the poor, and then decides to move his skills into home security. Yeah, see, it's based on Robin Hood. His name is just Robin Hood because he just read it as a kid, essentially. Anyway, yeah, so he goes into home security and takes down a weed operation led by Aussie cricket legend David Warner. Yeah, that David Warner, right? This movie, maybe I'm being too harsh on it. The more I'm talking about it, the more I'm like, this movie was okay. But I don't know if that's Stockholm Syndrome or I actually liked it. I can't tell. I do love a good Bollywood dance, and this film gives us plenty of those. And that one being for a stoned out Robin Hood, being then called Ganja Man. Maybe I did like this movie. Bollywood just does action right. You know, Bollywood action films just absolutely eat the action up. This one's no different. Wish there was a lot more though. Like there was probably like only like two, maybe three like big fight scenes. And I know this movie wasn't really about all that, but like I just wanted that to be more because those are the parts that just work in this film. Okay, you know what? I was gonna give this movie like a 3. You know, 3 on like a legit scale, but I think it's like a 5. If you like Bollywoods, and you know, and you need a good one, there's other ones out there. But this is a good, like, middle of the road, not an awful time. Bollywoods are just long. And I think being just a longer film is this film's biggest downfall. If it was shorter, I'm like, yeah, sure. Anyway, I'm missing some posters on this wall. I think I had Conclave from last month, so I'm going to quickly put that one up. And then I think we're going to leave it here. So I want to say thank you so much for everyone who is watching these. I'm trying to fix the quality of my camera slowly. I don't know if you saw last month's one, but it was good for a hot second, and then my camera just shit itself. Yeah, so I want to say thank you. I know the wall isn't exactly everyone's, you know, go-to video, but it's a little project just for me more than anything. You know, let me know if you've seen any of these films. Let me know how much you hated Working Man because no one liked it. Don't lie to me. If you enjoy these once a month, I'll be putting more movies up. I think we've got Minecraft and a couple of kids films because it's the holidays coming up around the corner. I also think we've got a couple of decent films. We're creeping up to like the banging territories. The start of the year. Look, besides Flow and besides Looney Tunes and, you know, a couple other decent ones in here, Mickey 17, the run of films hasn't been, you know, absolute peak. You know, it hasn't been like the best days of television or TV or whatever, but they've been good. You know, we do have some bangers in there, but then for every one you get something like that and that one and that one, you know, so it's like you can't, I don't know. And Novacaine was kind of mid, and it's fun. It's fine. It's a good time. But yeah, so next month seems pretty stacked. I think we're in April now. We got some ones cooking up in the background. Anyway, all right. Until then, guys, I'll see you next time. All right. Well, that's been the wall, everyone. All right. Until next month, everyone. See ya.